There are moments in life when something small happens, something ordinary, and yet it pulls your attention. A sensation in the body, a feeling you didn't expect, and suddenly the mind begins to wonder, is this something more? Every human being experiences physical sensations throughout the day, small signals like itching, tingling, warmth, or discomfort. Most of the time, people ignore them, and rightly so, because the body naturally reacts to environment, health, and daily activity. But there is a deeper principle here. Not everything that we notice should be immediately accepted as a sign, and not everything should be ignored without thought. Wisdom lies in balance. A mature and grounded person does not rush into conclusions based on feelings alone. Instead, they pause and reflect. That reflection is where growth begins. Sometimes a simple physical moment can remind us to check ourselves inwardly, our thoughts, our direction, our emotional state, and our spiritual awareness. However, the danger begins when imagination replaces understanding. When every small sensation is given a mystical meaning, confusion enters the mind. That is why discernment is important. Reflection should lead to clarity, not fear. So the real lesson is this. Your body can remind you to slow down, become aware, and stay thoughtful. But your decisions should always be guided by wisdom, not assumption. Across different cultures and beliefs, people have long connected physical experiences like an itching palm with meanings related to life's flow of giving and receiving. Some interpret it as a sign that something is coming into their life, while others see it as a reminder that something may be leaving. Whether one agrees with these interpretations or not, the deeper idea behind them is worth reflecting on. Life is always in motion. Nothing stays the same forever. There are seasons where you receive opportunities, blessings, help, or new connections. And there are also seasons where you let go of habits, relationships, responsibilities, or old ways of thinking. The palm, in this symbolic understanding, becomes a reminder of exchange. What comes in and what goes out. But wisdom is needed here. Not every sensation should be turned into a prediction. Instead, it can be used as a moment to reflect on your current season. Ask yourself, am I in a season of receiving or a season of releasing? Am I open to growth or holding on to what I should let go of? When understood properly, such interpretations are not about superstition. They become tools for self-awareness and thoughtful living. A truly balanced spiritual journey is not built on reacting to every unusual feeling or random experience, but on developing discernment, the ability to understand what is meaningful and what is simply natural. Many people fall into confusion because they give equal weight to every thought, sensation, or coincidence, treating them all as messages. But wisdom teaches a different approach. Discernment acts like an inner filter. It helps a person slow down and examine things carefully instead of rushing into conclusions. Not everything that feels significant is actually significant. Some things are just part of normal human experience. Stress, fatigue, environment, or emotion. When superstition takes control, it creates fear and instability. A person begins to overthink simple things and lose peace over small occurrences. But when wisdom guides the heart, there is clarity. The mind becomes steady, and decisions become grounded in truth rather than imagination. Spiritual maturity is shown in how calmly a person interprets life. Instead of asking, "What mysterious meaning is this?" the wiser question becomes, "Is this real, or am I assigning meaning without understanding?" This shift protects the heart from confusion and builds a stable, peaceful mindset rooted in clarity and balance, Human life is not static. It moves through constant phases of growth, adjustment, release, and renewal. Sometimes, even the smallest physical sensation can quietly draw attention inward and make a person reflect on their current condition in life. Not because the sensation itself carries a hidden message, but because the mind naturally searches for meaning in moments that interrupt routine. There are times when everything feels stable, and then suddenly something small disrupts that comfort. In that moment, awareness awakens. A person begins to think more deeply about where they are standing in life, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This reflection can become valuable if it leads to clarity and self-improvement. Seasons of change are not always loud or dramatic. Often, they begin subtly through thoughts, feelings, or small experiences that make a person pause. That pause can be powerful if it is used correctly. It becomes a space to evaluate direction, priorities, and inner growth. However, the key is not to attach supernatural meaning to every physical event, but to use these moments as reminders to stay mindful. Life changes whether we notice it or not, but awareness helps us move through those changes with wisdom, strength, and calm understanding. In moments of uncertainty, the human mind often looks for explanations, and when answers are not immediately clear, it can easily slip into fear or overthinking. That is where the role of faith becomes powerful, not as a source of confusion, but as a source of calm direction. Faith does not demand that every situation be instantly understood. Instead, it encourages trust while seeking wisdom. When people encounter unusual feelings or unexplained experiences, the first reaction should not be panic or assumption. Fear only multiplies confusion, making the mind restless and unstable. Instead, a faith-centered response brings the heart back to peace. It shifts attention from speculation to prayer, from worry to reflection, and from anxiety to clarity. Understanding grows when the mind is settled. Prayer is not just a ritual. It is a way of aligning thoughts, calming emotions, and gaining perspective. It helps a person step back from unnecessary conclusions and reconnect with inner stability. True strength is seen when a person does not allow confusion to control their thinking. Instead, they remain grounded, patient, and thoughtful. They seek understanding, wait for clarity, and move forward without fear. In this way, faith becomes not just belief, but a practical guide for a peaceful and wise life. Growth does not always come through major events or dramatic turning points. Often, it begins in quiet and simple ways, through small moments that gently capture attention and make a person think beyond their routine. A minor physical sensation, an unexpected feeling, or a brief pause in daily life can become a trigger for reflection. Not because the event itself carries mystical power, but because it interrupts autopilot living. When a person becomes more attentive to such moments, it can lead to increased self-awareness. They begin to notice their thoughts more clearly, examine their emotions more honestly, and evaluate their direction in life with greater care. This kind of sensitivity is valuable when it leads to growth rather than confusion. Inner development requires awareness. Without awareness, a person can live days, weeks, or even years without truly understanding their own condition. But when awareness is awakened, even simple experiences become opportunities to learn, adjust, and improve. However, balance is essential. Sensitivity should not turn into overthinking or superstition. The goal is not to assign hidden meanings to everything, but to become more mindful, more thoughtful, and more aligned with truth and wisdom. In this way, even ordinary moments can contribute to extraordinary inner growth.